Welcome to a new episode of Are You Sure? I'm your host, Agape Awad, and today we are continuing with Andrew, our contestant from last time, and he is now moving on to round 3. Just to remind you, Andrew successfully answered 10 questions from the book of Genesis and Exodus in the Bible. Today we're moving on to question number 11, which will be question number 1 of round 3. Andrew, welcome back. Are you ready to get started?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right, let's get started with question 1 of round 3. For how many years did the children of Israel receive manna? 40 years, 100 years, or only 1 year?
40 years.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Let's see if 40 years is the correct answer. Yes, that is the correct answer. We know from Exodus 16:35 that the children of Israel were able to be supplemented with manna for 40 years until they came to the land that they settled in. Good job, Andrew. Moving on to question number 2. Question number 2 is from Exodus 16:35, and the question asks, the children of Israel ate manna until they came to the border of what land? To the land of Egypt, to the land of Midian, or to the land of Canaan?
To the land of Canaan?
Land of Canaan. Let's see if that's the correct answer. Yes, that is correct. We know that the Israelites ate manna for 40 years until they came into the land that they settled in, which was the border of Canaan. Good job, Andrew. Moving on to question 3 of round 3. According to Exodus 16:6, what time of day would the children of Israel see the glory of God and know that He is the one who freed them from Egypt? They would do so at noon, or in the evening, or in the night.
In the night?
In the night. Are you sure?
No.
You want to think about it for a minute?
In the evening?
In the evening. So answer number 2.
Yes.
Andrew, so you want to lock in answer number 2?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Let's see the answer. That is correct. Good job, Andrew. So in the evening is the correct answer. We know that from Exodus 16:6. So Moses and Aaron said to the Israelites, in the evening, you will know that it was the Lord who brought you out of the land of Egypt. Good job, Andrew. That was a good save. Question number 4. Where did the Bible call the place from which the children of Israel set their journey to Canaan from? They called it the desert or the wilderness of sin, the village of sin, or the town of sin.
The desert, the wilderness of sin.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Let's see if answer 1 is correct. Yes, that is correct. Exodus 17:1 describes the whole Israelite community set out from the desert of sin, traveling from place to place as the Lord had commanded them. Good job, Andrew. This is now the 5th question of round 3. If you get this correct, you would earn $75 and moving on to round 4. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's look at the question. According to Exodus 16:13, what lay around all the camp in the morning? Snow, rain, or dew?
Dew.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Let's see the answer. That is correct. We know that it came to pass that even when the quails came up and covered the camp, in the morning there lay around dew. Good job. Andrew has successfully answered 15 questions from the books of Genesis and Exodus. He's now moving on to round number 4. We'll be back after the short break with Andrew on question 1 of round 4 on Are You Sure? Please stay tuned.
They complained because they did not have enough food. The supplies they carried with them from Egypt began to run out, and they had to sustain in the wilderness. It would seem that starvation was more anticipated than experienced. In another word, they did not live through weeks and weeks of famine, nor did they see their families and friends die of malnutrition, or even they have to kill all their livestock for food. Instead, they started to feel hungry and anticipated starvation. They went from singing to complaining very quickly. They insisted that Moses and Aaron had bad or evil interpretations. Of course, Moses and Aaron had no interest of killing the people of Israel, and that was a shocking accusation. However, the grumbling hearts often find it easy to accuse the person it complains of having the worst motives. This was an amazing promise. Bread does not usually rain from the sky. However, God promised that He would provide Israel in this unexpected way. This reminds us that God may provide from resources that we never know existed. Sometimes He provided us with familiar resources, sometimes from unexpected resources. God promised to send bread from heaven, but He didn't promise to drop it into their mouths. They still had to go out and gather what they need for every day. The blessing of bread from heaven came with the responsibility of obedience. This responsibility would test Israel, the measure of their obedience. The test came on the sixth day, when they were to gather twice as much. On the seventh day could be received as a day of rest. One way God showed His glory was through this display of mercy and goodness. God didn't send them hell from heaven. He sent bread instead. Nor did He demand that they stop their complainings before they ate. Just like Jesus would later command us, God loved to feed those who acted like His enemy.
Welcome back to Are You Sure? Now we're starting question number 1 of round 4. Let's take a look at question 1. Andrew, this question is from Exodus 17, and the question asks, when Moses held up his hand during the battle, what did the Israelites do? They were being defeated, they would have a draw, or they would prevail.
They would prevail.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Let's look at the answer. That is correct. We know from verse 11 of Exodus 17 that as long as Moses held up his hand, the Israelites were winning. But whenever he would lower his hands, the Amalekites would be winning. Good job, Andrew. Moving on to question 2. According to Exodus 17:8, who came and fought with Israel in the land of Rephidim? Israel himself, the Gideonites, or the Amalekites?
Amalekites.
Amalekites. Let's see if that's the answer. Yes, that is correct. We know from Exodus 17:8 that the Amalekites came with their army and attacked the Israelites in the land of Rephidim. Good job, Andrew. Question number 3. What did the people of Israel say when Moses came down and told them all what the Lord had said? They said, "We will not obey. Take us back to the land of Egypt." Or they said, "All that the Lord says we will do."
Number 3, all that the Lord says we will do.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Let's look at the answer. That is correct. Exodus 19:8 records, the people all responded together, "We will do everything the Lord has said." So Moses brought their answer back to the Lord. Good job, Andrew. This is now question 4 of round 4, and we're gonna have to fill in some blanks, okay? All right, according to Exodus 17:3, why is it that you have brought us up out of blank to kill us and our blank with thirst? So we're gonna fill that with Lebanon, children and cattle, or Syria, youth and our agriculture, or Egypt, children and our livestock.
Number 3, Egypt, children and our livestock.
All right, let's see if those are the correct words to fill in the blanks. Yes, that is correct. So the exact verse from Exodus 17:3 says, But the people were thirsty for water there, and they grumbled against Moses. They said, "Why did you bring us out of Egypt to make us and our children and our livestock die of thirst?" Very good job, Andrew. That was a hard question. Moving on now to question number 5. This is also a fill in the blank. From Exodus 16:8, fill in the following blanks. This shall be seen when the Lord gives you blank to eat in the evening, and in the morning blank to the blank. Birds, bread, and full. Chickens, bread, and full. Meat, bread, and full.
Number 3, meat, bread, and full.
Okay, let's see if those are the correct fill in the blanks. Yes, that is correct. So in Exodus 16:8, here is what we're told. And Moses said, "This will be when the Lord will give you the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full. For the Lord heard your murmurings and heard what you said against him." Good job, Andrew. So Andrew, now we're gonna move on to round number 5 right after the break. So please stay tuned. We're gonna take a short break. We'll be back with Andrew for 5 final questions of Are You Sure? If he gets this right, he will reach all the way to the end and win the ultimate cash prize. Stay tuned on Are You Sure? Welcome back to Are You Sure? And we're back with Andrew for his final 5 questions of round number 5. Andrew, are you ready?
Yes.
Let's get started with question 1. So this is another fill in the blank, Andrew. According to Exodus 16:23, tomorrow is a blank rest, a holy blank to the Lord, and it's the same word used twice. The word is Sunday, Monday, or the Sabbath.
Sabbath.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Let's see the answer. That is correct. We're told from Exodus 16:23 that the Lord commanded them, tomorrow is to be a day of Sabbath rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. So bake what you want to bake and boil what you want to boil. Save whatever is left and keep it until the morning. Good job, Andrew. Question now number 2. What was before the butler in his dream in the story of Joseph? A factory, a mine, or a vineyard vine?
A vine?
A vine, are you sure?
Yes.
Let's take a look. That is correct. We know that from Genesis 49:11 that in his dream there was a vine because he worked with grapes. Good job. Moving on now to question number 3. According to Exodus 16:12, what are the children of Israel to be filled with in the morning near their camps? Birds, chickens, or bread?
Bread.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Let's see the answer. That is the correct answer. We know from Exodus 16:12 that the Lord heard the murmurings of the children of Israel, and he gave them flesh to eat, and in the morning filled their tents with bread. Good job. Moving on now to question number 4. In Exodus 16:26, we're told, for how many days are the children of Israel allowed to gather the bread that the Lord had sent them? For 7 days only, for 8 days, or for 6 days in the week?
For 6 days in the week.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Let's see the answer. That is correct. We know that they were allowed to gather for 6 days, but on the 7th day, which the Lord called the Sabbath, there would not be any bread and they would not have anything to collect. Good job. Now this is the 5th and final question, Andrew. If you get this right, you would go all the way till the end. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right, let's see question 5. So according to Exodus 16:32, what is the manna, the special bread that God gave them, to be kept for? It was to be kept for their youth, to be kept for their ages, or would be kept for future generations.
Number 3, for your future generations.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Let's see if that's the correct answer. Yes, that is correct. In Exodus 16:32, we know that the Lord commanded them to keep an omer of bread for the generations to come so they can see the miracle that he gave them to eat in the wilderness. Great job, Andrew. He reached all the way till the end of Are You Sure? So Andrew made it all the way through the 5 rounds of Are You Sure, answering 25 questions correctly. Congratulations, Andrew.
Thank you. Yay! Yay!
ايوه اطلع بالمعلوم يا عم الحاج. ايه ده حلو الواد ده، انا براقباه من اول ما دخلت، ده هادي. ايه ده الله. ازيك انت؟ ازيك يا لهوي، ده حلو الواد ده كمان. ده هيجي معانا امتى؟ السنه الجايه؟ الله ده من اولها. بصي هتقول اسمي كده اتكلم يا ابني. استنى يا عم فريد بس اقول له بس. استنى ده بيضحك. ولع البخور وكان هيولع في المكان اخر مره. سوري انت سامعني. ازيك؟